Hey everyone, what's going on? I just wanted to take a moment and tell you thanks for checking this video out. This is the first one that I've made. I'm going to make one of these every day. The plan is to go through the 3 different pieces of the presentation. So we're going to have the intro, the positioning, and then from the 3 secrets to the close, and then the close. I'm going to go through those parts until I feel really good about them. I'm going to change some pieces out after I listen to it. And then I'll probably do the whole webinar. My goal, I would love to get through the whole webinar 20 times before I actually submit it. And I have something really special in store as we get closer to the end. So this is the first one. I spent about 8 hours today. I went through all 4 webinars, took my notes from them, and then wrote my own version. So we'll see how this goes. I might just revert back to, I'd actually love your opinion on this. I might revert back to just the 10x webinar and just do Russell's webinar anywhere where he talks about being the owner of Clickfunnels or anything like that, interject my own story, but otherwise leave it exactly the same. If you think that would be a better plan than the stuff that I have written, let me know. I won't take offense, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, we'll get started. So I want to thank you all for coming today. I'm really, really glad that you made it here. I want to start with a question. How many of you wish you had a thriving business? How many of you would say you have a thriving business? How many of you would like to have an even better business? How many of you have 20 to 30 hours off a week? How many of you are working overtime? Right? That's not the dream. Like the entrepreneurial dream, everyone tells you, start your own business, it's going to be great, you're going to make a lot of money. You know, and that's the dream. That's what attracts all of us in. And then I think we're also closet workaholics. So we just start working all the time. And then before we know it, we get into this pattern where we work so much and we're not making anywhere near what we thought we were going to. Does anyone have that experience here? I know I did when I first got started. So I'm super excited to share with you about how I was able to find success and how I think you're going to be able to find success as well. This is a super easy to use platform that will change your life and change your business. Now this is for anybody who has a business or anybody who wants a business. You don't necessarily have to have a successful business to be here. This is for anyone who wants to own a business, anyone who wants to make a living online, anyone who wants to draw people to a brick and mortar, anyone who just wants to get leads for people. This will work for you. Now I'm going to cover 3 secrets a little bit later on. At the end of all of this, I'm going to make you a really special offer, but we'll get to that later. It's not important right now. What I want to talk to you about for just a second The biggest thing that I want you to start off with is the idea that whoever can spend the most to get a customer is going to win the game. Now you might say, well, that makes sense, right? If you can spend If people in your space are spending $10 to acquire a lead and you can spend $100 to acquire a lead, you're going to win, right? You're going to get all of the customers. You're going to be everywhere. You're going to dominate the conversation. Where you say, but I don't have $100 to spend to get a lead. Like, I want to spend $1. Everybody makes this mistake. They say they want to get their leads for the cheapest amount possible. And while that makes sense on the front end, it does not make sense on the back end. Because if you get 100 customers at $1, but they're only worth 50 cents to you, you lose money. I want to show you how you can spend $100 to acquire a lead and make thousands off of them. Doesn't that sound a whole lot better? Because if you're spending $100 to get a lead, and then you're able to make thousands off of them, you can dominate the conversation and you can get all the leads you want. And what does that do for your business? It blasts it off like a rocket ship. So that's what I'm going to prove to you by the end of this conversation. What I need you to do right now, though, is I need you to take your cell phone out of your pocket. So I'm putting a number up on the screen right there. I know a lot of people are going to want the slides from this event. I talk fast, I move fast, and I'm going to go through a lot of information. So if you want the slides to this, instead of trying to take pictures and fiddle with your phone in the middle of everything, text, get the slides to that number. We will send you the slides. That way you don't have to worry about it. I'll wait for a minute while everybody does that. Give you just a few minutes. This is my dance. It's my happy dance. All right, now that everybody has texted, I want you to put your phone on silent and I want you to put it on the floor. That's right, I said put it on the floor, put it under your chair. The reason that I'm telling you that is what I'm going to share with you in this presentation is going to change your life and your business. If you're busy fiddling on your phone, you're going to miss things that I say. If you haven't noticed, I talk pretty fast. I want you to keep up. I want you to get everything that I'm saying. And if you ever mess with your phone, if a text comes in or you decide to check Facebook for some unknown reason, you're going to miss something. I promise you, if you pay attention, this presentation will change your life and change your business. Now you're probably saying, yeah, right. I've heard a bunch of presentations today. Why is your presentation any different? Well, there are a few people I want to point out to you. The first one's Liz Benny. She paid attention. She went all in with us. You know what happened? The first 2 times that she tried something right afterwards, it didn't go so well, but she did okay. She more than broke even. The 3rd time, this is what she said right here. We've gotten more than 30 leads this month, and we're expecting to close 100 by the end of the month. That's 100 $1,000 sales. I'm not very good at math, but who out there is? Can you tell me what that number is? It's 100K, right? She paid attention. She didn't miss anything. Another person I want to talk to you about, Trey Llewellyn. Trey had tried more than 25 different businesses and failed at all of them. He came to one of our events and he listened. He took a ton of notes. At the end of it, this is what happened. He shipped 40,000 pieces in 1 month. His business took off. He has more than 20 funnels and he holds the record for the highest grossing funnel in all of Clickfunnels because he paid attention. Now my goal during this whole presentation is to get you to understand that funnels will change your business. Now a lot of people say that they know what funnels is. Do you think you know what a funnel is? Awesome. If you don't know, or if you're questioning, I'm going to show you. And my goal is to prove to you that not only will funnels revolutionize your business, regardless of what your business is, it works for everything. My other goal is to show you how you can quickly and easily build them so that you can take back your time. What's the one resource that we can't get any more of? It's our time. And what funnels and ClickFunnels allows you to do is take back your time. If I can show you that funnels will get you more business and more leads than anything else in the world, and will give you your time back, how much would you be willing to pay for that? Just think about that for a second. My goal at the end of this presentation is to get you to give ClickFunnels $11,552. That's what it costs. If I can prove to you, though, that funnels will revolutionize your business and make you unlimited leads as well as give you time back, would that be worth $11,052 to you? $11,552? Think about that for a few minutes. Let that sink in. So what if I were to show you a way where you put $1 into advertising and you get $2 back out the next day? Does that sound good to anyone in here? I mean, are you guys getting what I'm saying? I'm going to show you how that you can build an ad on Facebook, put $1 into the ad, and get $2 back out the next day. Who can tell me what their marketing budget would be for that? Anyone? What would your marketing budget be? $500? $1,000? $1,500? How about infinite? If you can put $1 in and get $2 back out, how much do you want to put in? Remember when I was talking about whoever can pay the most for a customer wins the ultimate end game? Remember when I was saying that just a little bit ago? This is how we do it. I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove to you by the end of this conversation that you can put $1 in ads and get $2 back out the next day. Now, is that worth $1,152 to you? I would think that it would be. So I need you to commit with me. I need you to make a commitment that when I show you this and I prove to you beyond the shadow of any doubt that this will work, I need you to go all in with me. I don't need you to sit there and hem and haw and come up with excuses. I need you to say, he proved it, I'm all in. Who can make that commitment with me? It's not a hard commitment to make. I'm going to show you how to put $1 in and get $2 back out. Does that work? If that works for you, then I need you to make the commitment with me. All right, sweet. I'm not going to move on until some people make a commitment. make some commitments. You're in? You're in? You're in? All right, awesome. I'm going to move on. If you guys didn't say you're in, you should. If you can't commit with me, you shouldn't be in this room. Why is this so important to me? You can probably tell that I'm a little bit passionate. I'm talking fast. I'm getting worked up. I do that because entrepreneurs are the only people who can change the world for the better. Who in here considers themselves an entrepreneur? You can change the world. We are the only people who constantly push the world forward. You want me to prove this to you? We innovate. We're the ones who are always coming up with new ideas. Sure, think about it for a second. Big businesses, big corporations, they're not the ones coming up with new ideas. They're the ones that are stagnating growth because they don't want to change. They become too complex, they have too much management, and they can't change quickly. The managers all want to protect their jobs, and they're not looking to change, they're looking for profit. Entrepreneurs move fast, they take action, and they're doing things because they're driven to make change. They know that their profit is going to come from change. The second thing is sales. Entrepreneurs drive sales. Think about an economy without sales. What does that look like? If there's no money changing hands, nobody can get paid. All businesses would shut down and we'd all end up in a mess. So entrepreneurs drive sales. We support the masses. We support everybody else who's not an entrepreneur. Who in here considers themselves an entrepreneur? Okay, so you've been around people who aren't entrepreneurs, right? Aren't business owners. They think completely different than us, right? But that's okay. The world needs those people, and that's totally all right. They're just different from us, but we support them. Without us, they would not have new things to consume. They wouldn't have things to spend their money on. The economy wouldn't grow. So we are the only people in the world who constantly push the world forward. And that makes me really passionate. I love working with entrepreneurs. I am an entrepreneur. I've owned several different businesses. I owned a business in my 20s that went bankrupt. I had to go back into corporate America. I fought my way back. I started my own business 6 years ago. I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go along. But let me tell you, that's why I'm passionate, because Clickfunnels, Russell Brunson, they've changed the world. They've made it so that entrepreneurs can move forward, get back their time, and serve their customers better. Let me ask you a question. Who in here gives to charity? Right? Who in here is on a nonprofit? That would not be possible unless you were successful in your business. Did you know that entrepreneurs are the #1 givers to nonprofit and charities? Without that, we would not be able to push the world forward. Give yourselves a round of applause. You guys are changing the world, and I want to support you. Clickfunnels wants to support you. If you look at their mission statement, this is their mission statement right here. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. I'll let you guys read the rest. Read it with me. We see genius because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. That's why I'm up here, because I want to support you guys. Any way that I can support entrepreneurs and get you to get your product out to the masses faster and get it to them in a better way, while at the same time reducing the noise, stress, and pressure that affects you and causes you to stop in your tracks, I'm doing my job correctly, and that's why I'm up here. So everyone agrees that entrepreneurs are the ones who push the world forward. And you get why I want to help you. So I'm going to go back one more time. If I can show you how to put $1 in and get $2 back out the next day, and I can show you how to buy back 20 hours of your time a week and serve your customers better, is that worth $11,552 to you? If it is, give me a 2 clap. What's a 2 clap? You just heard it. That's what I want you guys to do when you get excited. I'm going to do it throughout the presentation. It keeps you awake. Stay with me. Give me a 2 clap. All right. So who in here really wants to change their life? Who in here wants to change their business? Then you're in the right place. So I want to tell you a little bit about where I came from. I'm way off. So I missed some of the stuff in there. I'm going to go back through that piece again because I want to watch it again. So everyone in here agrees that business owners and entrepreneurs are the ones that are pushing the world forward. So what happens when I give you 20 hours a week of your time back and I have it so that you can get more customers and clients and serve the world better? What happens to the world? The world becomes a better place. And the world becomes a better place, then we all win. Everybody wins. It's a win-win situation infinitely. And that's why I'm standing up here. That's why I'm sharing it with you. I want you guys to have massive success. If you have massive success, then I've done my job correctly. If you are not paying attention right now, I need you to pay attention because this will change your world. So who in here wants to change their life? Who in here wants to change their business? Who in here wants to change the world around them? All right, sweet. You're in the right place. Anywhere you are in your business, if you don't have a business yet, if you're trying to figure out what product you offer, if you have a business but it's struggling, if you have a successful business, brick and mortar business, if you're a chiropractor, if you're a dentist, if you own any kind of store that sells anything, if you're an online marketer, if you're in insurance, if you're in some kind of service space, this works for you. The only people this doesn't work for is somebody who does not want to own a business. So who in here wants to own a business? Earlier you said you all did. So all right. You're in the right place. This will work for you. So why should you listen to me? I told you a little bit about my story earlier. So when everything hit the fan it was early 2000s, I went back to waiting tables. That's what I knew how to do. I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to sell things. And it was an easy job to get that paid the bills. From there, I paid off my debts. I became a functioning member of society again, but I hated it. It ate at me every single day. So I saved up some money, and I decided I was going to start a business again. Who can keep an entrepreneur down, right? Who in here has had that experience? You tried to go back to the real world, and you just couldn't do it. I get it. I feel you. I know your pain. So I saved up my money. And I decided to go out on my own, and I decided to hold events because I ran events from the restaurant side. So I knew how to do it. I heard people complain all the time. This event isn't run that well. We're not getting what we want. The service hasn't been all that great. I thought, well, I know how to do all this stuff. I can figure it out. I can do that. So I went out. I did what anybody would do, and I had this big, huge goal. I'm going to hold an event for 1,000 people, and it's going to be for restaurant owners, cooks, and people who want to grow their restaurant. No problem. I went to Treasure Island. I signed a commitment for 1,000-person space. It was the second largest room that Treasure Island has. They have one that holds 1,500 as well. It was booked, or I would have signed on that one. So I signed for 1,000-person space. And I went out and I got 12 speakers. Speakers weren't that hard to find. I interviewed people. I picked people that I thought would add value. I put together a website. Only I didn't know how to do a website. So I had to pay somebody to do a website for me. Then I had to pay somebody to do an autoresponder. I probably could have learned it, but I thought, you know, it's a business. It'll pay for itself. I know, a little bit naive, but I didn't want to deal with it. It was too much headache for me. I tried to do it. This is a picture of my website right here. This is one that I built. I used WordPress. It was horrible. Horrible. I showed it to somebody and they said, you're professional? You're holding an event? So that's when I went out and hired somebody to build my website. But I couldn't just do that. I had to hire somebody to write the copy. I had to hire somebody to do the autoresponder. I had to hire somebody to do SEO. I had to hire somebody to do all of this stuff. And then I got to the granddaddy of them all. I had to hire somebody to do Facebook ads. How many of you in here have paid somebody to do ads for you? All right. I'm going to show you a way that fixes that. So what happened next? I bet some of you can guess. I started advertising 6 months before the event. With 2 weeks to go, I had 1 registration. 1. Because I didn't know the main thing that you need to know when you're trying to do a business, and that's marketing. I didn't know how to market it. I had spent all of my money. I went to Treasure Island. I met with the event manager, and then I met with the head of events. I called them both into a meeting. I said, look, here's what happened. I explained it all to them, and I said, I know I signed a contract, and I'm on the line for $15K. I don't have $15K. And they both looked at me, they shook their head, and they said, you know what, it's okay. And they were very gracious, and they let me out of my contract. But what I couldn't take back is the over $25,000 I spent to try to hold the event. Right? That hurt. Who in here's waited tables? Who in here owns a restaurant? I mean, I made good money waiting tables. I was able to live comfortably and save up that money. That wasn't on credit cards. That was cash out of my bank account that I had spent. That hurt. It hurt a lot. But I wasn't done. I made the decision that I was going to be an entrepreneur come hell or high water, and I was going to push through. So I moved out of my apartment. I sold a bunch of the stuff that I had. I got rid of my car and got a $1,200 Toyota Celica. Here's a picture of it. And I moved in with a friend of mine who believed in me enough to say, you can stay in my guest bedroom for 4 months. I won't charge you a penny of rent. And you can do something else. One of the other friends that I had recommended a book by Dan Kennedy, which I read, which was on marketing. It was The Ultimate Sales Letter. If you haven't read it, it is a great direct marketing book. From there, I devoured everything that I could about marketing. I dug in with both hands, and literally 12 to 14 hours a day, I was either watching videos or reading books. When I get into something, who in here is geeked out on something, right? When I get into something, I get into it. From that, I went back to Treasure Island. I met with the head of catering, and I said, hey, I want to rent a small room. I want a room for 50 people. How much will you charge me? And she said, if you pay up front, we'll charge you $800. It's non-refundable, and then you have to pay for food for your people. You have to at least buy 2 meals for them because it was going to be a 2-day event. I have to buy 2 lunches for them. That's the deal that she made with me. She was really interested to see that I came back. So through that, I taught myself how to build a website. I taught myself SEO. I taught myself simple copywriting. Now, none of this stuff is simple. Who in here has built a WordPress site, right? It updates every 3 days and things break all the time. But that's what I knew. That's what people said to use, so that's what I did. I went out and I did it. And at that event, here's a picture of that event. I'm proud to say I was able to sell it out. Now, I didn't charge a lot for it. I ended up making about $8,000 from this. But it was enough to get me back on my feet and enough to prove to me that I could do it. So from there, I started holding other events. I kind of got into a groove, and I started holding events, and I started marketing. So what happens when you hold one event for $8,000? That's not that much money, right? How many of those do you have to make to live a year? Most of you would say at least 10, right? That would be $80K. Well, I figured out how to get a little bit better, so I was making $12,000 to $15,000 an event. So that's a little bit better. If you're making $15,000 an event and you hold 5 events a year, that's a livable wage, right? Well, I started doing that. And then I decided, well, I want to make more money, right? So how do you make more money? You just turn it up. You just jack it up just a little bit, right? Does that make sense to everybody? Who in here has done that, right? You have a business that is functioning, and it's going along well, and you're like, I'll just turn it up just a little bit. And so you turn it up a little bit, and what happens? What happens? That's right. It breaks. A lot of stuff broke. Everything started breaking, and I just kept pushing harder. I tried to hire somebody. Who in here has hired somebody to fix something for them? They say, oh yeah, I'll be great at managing X. Who's done that? How'd it go for you? Right? You really, really have to work to find that person. I wasn't able to find that person, so that meant that I did it all myself. When something broke on WordPress, I had to jump in and fix it. When I was on a plane somewhere, I had to pay for internet to go fix it. So 2 years ago, fast forward, 2 years ago, I decided I was going to go all out. I wanted to have a huge year. I booked 15 events. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing all the marketing. I'm doing all the ads. I'm doing all the emails. I'm building all the websites. I'm responding to everything. I was like, I just won't sleep. Who in here's had that experience, right? I need it done. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to push through. Who in here has had that experience? Who in here uses Infusionsoft? We'll come back to that one in a second, right? I thought Infusionsoft was going to make my life easier. And it did at first, until I realized nothing worked by itself and I had to buy all these other add-ins, right? Who in here's got Spiffy? Who in here has a lead page maker for it because their lead pages aren't very good? Who in here has to buy an autoresponder? Who in here has been shut down by their autoresponder? Who has that happened to, right? I've been shut down by 5. Not because I spammed anybody, but because I didn't fall into their really tight-knit rules. So I booked 15 events. I ended up having to cancel 3 of them. I held 12 of them. I was on the road for over 200 days, and I was losing my freaking mind. Who in here has been there? All right, awesome. So I read a book. I read all the time. I force myself to read. I don't have to force myself anymore, but I used to have to force myself. Now I love it. I don't remember where I got the book at. That's horrible, right? I probably got it from Amazon. I could go back and look, but I don't know. But I picked up .com Secrets, and I read it from start to finish on an airplane from Boston to Las Vegas. Start to finish, read the whole thing. And I was blown away. Not only because the marketing in it is genius, but because if what he said was true, it would change my business. It would revolutionize what I do. So what did I do? I went and I bought his next book. His next book was Expert Secrets. This was November of last year. I read that book while flying from Las Vegas to Miami the next week. I got that book on Amazon. Read that book cover to cover. And then, you know what I did? I did what every good entrepreneur does. I said, how can I do it better? How can I do this better? I can stitch a whole bunch of programs together and I can get the same result and it'll be cheaper and easier and my life will be amazing. That was November. By January, I had stitched everything together and it broke. It kept breaking. Everything was breaking all around me. I was putting out more fires than I was fixing. Who in here has had that experience? Putting out more fires than working on your business. That's when you're working in your business, not on your business, and your business isn't growing. So when that happened, I'll never forget. I live in Vail. Who in here has ever been to Vail? One of the most beautiful places in the world. It was a powder day, and it was my dream to live there and be an entrepreneur so that I could get in more powder days than anybody else. Instead, because I was putting out so many fires and flying all over trying to hold 15 conferences, by January, I think it was January 8th or 9th, I had 2 days on the mountain. But it was a powder day, and I was super excited. We got 12 inches overnight. I woke up in the morning. I decided to check my email really quick, and I still don't know if it was fate or if it was just me having to check my email. My email responder had gotten shut off in the middle of the night. Infusionsoft had barred me because it was the 3rd time that I had gotten shut down through Infusionsoft. At this point, I didn't know what to do because I had an event coming up and I just spent a huge amount of money to get registrations coming in. And I couldn't process any of them. All I wanted to do was go skiing. And I couldn't. And I was watching my business burn. I had so many fires going at this point that I felt like my world was collapsing. I literally stared at my computer for like 30 minutes, not knowing what to do. And in that moment, in my email, I saw an email from Russell Brunson. And I decided, well, I don't have anything to lose. I'm going to go with Clickfunnels. I'm going to go all in. And I went all in. And it was all rainbows. It was all rainbows and unicorns and pots of gold, and my life changed. Come on. That didn't happen, right? But I will tell you what did happen. I went all in with them, and I was able to cancel WordPress. I was able to cancel Infusionsoft. I was able to cancel all my autoresponder accounts. I was able to cancel my SEO. I was able to cancel my web builders that helped me. I was able to cancel my copywriters. And I was able to do all of that work myself in 1 to 2 hours to build a website that functioned perfectly. So I'm going to tell you two things that happened with ClickFunnels. The first thing, they're not perfect. Anyone who tells you that they are is lying. But what they are is caring. They will fix something like that for you. If something goes wrong, they are on it. They will step up to the plate, they will own it, and they will fix it. The second thing, autoresponders. Who in here has had a problem? We've talked about autoresponders, right? Who in here would love to never, ever get shut off from their autoresponder again? So the program that they have worked out, you can do whatever you want with your email. If you decide to spam people, you'll get a bad rating. You can still send infinitely, and you will not get shut off. That's pretty awesome, right? The fact that you can get rid of everybody and have it done perfectly, simply, so that you can go in and fix anything. Who in here has a WordPress site? Who in here can easily fix their WordPress site? I can go into ClickFunnels and I can build a working funnel in under 10 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do it later. I have a demo. We're going to do it in under 5 minutes. We're going to build a simple funnel. And what is a funnel? A funnel is not a singular web page. It's multiple web pages together that cause people to put $1 in and you get $2 back out. It works like magic, and I'm going to show it to you here in just a minute. The last thing that I'm going to tell you about ClickFunnels before we move on to the 3 secrets and get going on this presentation and actually show you some things is Russell, the owner of ClickFunnels. He uses ClickFunnels. He's the main funnel builder in ClickFunnels. He builds his own thing. He's not techie. He'll tell you this. The reason that it is designed to be so user-friendly is because he uses it. They use their own platform and he builds stuff on it. You can watch him every Friday. He builds a funnel. He does it in under 30 minutes from start to finish. He can do it faster, but because he's working off of people, he takes somebody's funnel and he rebuilds it for them. That's worth, he charges at least $500,000 to build a funnel, and he does it every Friday for somebody. So who in here wants to know the 3 secrets of how ClickFunnels works and how it can change your business? Okay, that's it. That's day 1. I have no idea how long that was, but I think it went a little longer than it should have. I don't know. Before I get off camera, you guys can give me any feedback that you want. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was engaging. See you guys tomorrow.